Congress, we have to, of course, responsibly cut spending. But at the same time, we also have to make the necessary investments that create jobs now, guarantee the future strength of our economy, and renew the vitality of our communities. And that's why we should absolutely reject this effort to further reduce the investment, our nation's investment, in the National Endowment for the Arts. Our targeted federal investment in the arts through the NEA is very modest and is really crucial to spurring the contributions of corporate and foundation partners through their support through philanthropy, sponsorships, and volunteerism that help to sustain and leverage arts investments in communities all across this country. This investment in the arts becomes all the more important during a time when states and cities all across this country face greater and greater fiscal constraints, and at the same time are searching for opportunities to leverage federal dollars and to spur economic development and job creation. I represent a state that has realized an extraordinary return on investments generated by the arts. In Rhode Island, the presence of the arts are really sewn into the fabric of our communities and of our economy. According to recent data from Americans for the Arts, in just the 1st Congressional District, in my district alone, more than 1,400 arts-related businesses employ nearly 6,000 people, and that represents more than 5% of the businesses in my district. As the former mayor of Providence, I've seen firsthand the economic impact of the arts and the power of art to transform people and places. I know the benefits of the arts in enriching our communities and uniting them as well. Arts nourish our soul. The United States Conference of Mayors sent a letter to the members of Congress urging us to protect funding in the arts and to reject this amendment, recognizing that arts create jobs and produce tax revenues, that arts put people to work, and that arts attract tourism revenue. Arts and the creative industries are an enormous part of what fuels our local economies, bringing hundreds of thousands of visitors to our cities, generating activity in restaurants, hotels, transportation, and hospitality services. This activity not only strengthens the vitality of our communities, it generates revenues for state and local governments. Across our country, the arts industry provides much more than aesthetic benefits. It creates meaningful economic benefits and opportunities. During this period of budget austerity, we shouldn't neglect those investments with a proven positive rate of return. We shouldn't siphon off the fuel that helps power the American arts industry, a sector of our economy comprised of more than 750,000 businesses, employing nearly 3 million people nationwide and generating more than $166 billion in economic activity. Cutting the National Endowment for the Arts undermines our responsibility to create jobs and grow our economy and diminishes us as a nation. As one study demonstrates, when we consider the overall direct federal cultural spending of $1.4 billion, we're achieving a return on investment that's nearly 9 to 1. If we're really serious about strengthening our economy, putting more Americans back to work, and reining in our deficit, then we have to be smart about our investments and about our reductions. With estimates indicating that every dollar of federal funds invested in the arts generates $9 in economic benefits, further reductions to the National Endowment for the Arts are counterproductive and, in fact, will move our nation backwards. It moves us backwards not only in the fact that we lose the immediate economic return on the investment, but this cut also pushes our country further behind our competitors in the global economy. It was one of the great giants of the United States Senate, the great and passionate leadership of Rhode Island Senator Claiborne Pell, that led to the creation of the National Endowment for the Arts in 1965, the program that we're fighting to defend today. In 1963, Senator Pell opened hearings on preliminary legislation on this issue by stating, and I quote, "I believe that this cause and its implementation has a worldwide application. For as our cultural life is enhanced and strengthened, so does it project itself into the world beyond our shores. Let us apply renewed energies to the very concept we seek to advance, a true renaissance, the reawakening, the quickening, and above all, the unstunted growth of our cultural vitality." In those words, Senator Pell said clearly that this disinvestment that we're discussing today for the National Endowment for the Arts, nearly 50 years later, is a stark and appalling contrast to the renaissance and reawakening embodied in the National Endowment for the Arts. For too long, the arts have been the first